All right, how are we looking? We're looking good. Streaming is starting. We'll see how this is looking up on the YouTubes. All right, that's happening on the YouTube. Very cool. All right, I will dick around a bit and import some footage, and then we'll get to rocking and rolling. So here's this. We will put this in a folder. And I mean, even though no one's watching yet, we'll go into smart bins because I'll upload this a little bit later. I think smart bins are very cool. So I will add a smart bin, and file name contains .mts, and we'll call this Moises. Sorry if that pronunciation isn't exactly correct, but we're rocking and rolling. I will go and post a quick little thing on the socials, and then we'll get started. Hey, there's people here now. Look at that. Where is my link? The internet can totally see you now. There's the link. Whoop. That's not what I wanted. And here's this. And we'll go and post this to stuff. Thank you all for holding on for just a second while I go through these duties, and then we'll get to grading. All right. Excellent. And if you could in the chat, let me know if things are sounding good, looking good, if frames are dropping, etc. And we'll be good. Into the mic. Do I need to be louder? I've got room to be louder. And how about now? We're much louder now, and that's even the right knob. Good job, Theo. So now that's pretty loud. Looking good? Excellent. All right. Is everybody ready to get started rocking and rolling on this? So we've got, so far, we've only have 2 submissions, but I'm going to turn this down a little bit because I'm not going through a compressor because I just reorganized all of my outboard gear. So I'm sorry if I'm a little bit quiet, but at least I won't be distorty. Excellent. Yeah, I reorganized all my outboard gear, so things are different. And things might be a little bit slow today because my main, yeah, that's right, Nigel. You got the right idea. So it might be a little bit clunky today because my main computer exploded. Don't buy Enermax liquid coolers because my Enermax liquid cooler leaked all over about $2,000 to $3,000 worth of components. So I'm dealing with that right now. So we're on the render machine, and you know, things are goofy, but we'll get going. So this first clip, this one was sent by Brian. This is, you know, I'm jealous of all this cool stuff that I'm guessing is close to him. So we've got these cool cars, and we're gonna do some trickery to make this look, you know, less like just walking around handheld stuff. So, you know, it's kind of shaky and stuff, and we're gonna make this look like it would be in some sort of like Gifts with Sound compilation, which I am totally addicted to. They're my favorite. So, yep. So we'll get this into a timeline. So edit, and so there's 2 ways you could approach making this less shaky. The first one is the normal way, which sucks, and that's stabilizing it. And I'm not sure how well you can see this on YouTube. Let's see if we can do this guy. And you can see there's a pretty serious amount of motion blur and rolling shutter in this shot. So stabilization, especially in Resolve, is not really going to be our best bet. Oh, Cameron, welcome. First time here. Excellent. So what we're going to do is, instead of stabilizing it like a jerk, we're going to use optical flow retiming, since there's really not that much actual movement going on in here. And this will let us, you know, get something that looks like a little more sleek and professional going with no extra money. I love using, I know optical flow retiming is overused and stuff, but whenever I get, especially I used to do a lot more freelance editing stuff. Now I'm sort of condensing stuff down, but I would get lots of footages footages. Goodness, I'm sounding like some of the emails I get. I've got lots of footage in that was sort of mediocre quality, all shot at, real time and DSLR and stuff, and just not the best stuff. But if you put this optical flow retiming on it, so I used to have to use Twixtor all the time, but now it's built in everywhere, which is super awesome. But whenever you put this stuff on it, it can make stuff look really good. So we'll just say we'll start here-ish, and we'll just take a little bit, and we'll drop this in our timeline, because I'm guessing the purpose of this shot is just to show the car, and that might not be great. I don't really like this truck full of stumps. So let's see. We'll just get about where we want to start, because that's all that matters. So about there-ish. Is that looking good? That's a little bit nicer. And now we will go ahead and click on this and go to our inspector and go down to optical flow retiming and drag this up to the front. Right click, go to change clip speed, and we'll make this something like 10%. And one of the great things with optical flow, well, it's a blessing and a curse with optical flow retiming, is the slower you make it. So if this was like 1%, it would be even better, because it has to interpolate between fewer frames. So if you get 2 really nice frames, it'll just really smoothly interpolate between those two, which is pretty nice. We don't need pitch correction. Stretch to fit is probably what we want. No, it's not what we want. Gosh darn, you can see how often I actually edit in Resolve. I did just do 2 entire spots inside DaVinci Resolve. All right, Edward, I think I have a solution for you. Let me just get this one part done, and then I will show you what I think needs to be done. So yeah, that's good. Maintain timing. This guy, change, and just stretch this out a little bit so it's a little bit longer. So now, it's still a little bit warpy, so maybe we will roll this to a little bit different frames so we can get 2 little better frames. There we go. That's looking pretty good. And yeah, so now you can see already, let's get this little shot that's much nicer. I mean, really, that's probably all you would use of this. It looks like some sort of like Anthony Bourdain type thing, where you just have this little cut of this cool car just interspersed with stuff. Maybe you would zoom in and crop out some of this visual noise in the background and just focus on this really cool car in the front. But, that's looking cool. All right, now, Edward, what I think you need to do, looking at your comment, and Cameron, I'm with you. I think Resolve, once it gets more stable, like 1 year from now, I think it'll be a real contender for just getting rid of Adobe, because it works really, really well. And if you're not like in an environment where you need to be using Adobe, this is a super powerful tool. I wish it had better UI options, and I wish it didn't crash every 10 minutes, but I mean, we're in beta. All right, so Edward, maybe you can help me out when I drag my media into the edit tab. The videos always have a small part on the sides that are black, I'm guessing, and I always have to zoom in from 1 to 1.02. So what I would do is go to image scaling and change your input scaling from scale entire image to fit to either center crop with no resizing, which is what I normally do, or scale to full frame with crop. Sorry about the pause there. I'm used to editing. So I wouldn't do stretch frame to all corners, because that will screw up your aspect ratio. But if you switch to one of these two, that should fix your problem whenever you import it. You might have to, if you have a current project where stuff is going on, you might have to take it out and then re-import it. But once you're there, it's good. Yeah, Adobe Lumetri sucks. I mean, it doesn't, it's way better than what Adobe Color Correction used to be. If you guys remember back in the day, trying to increase saturation in Premiere would just make everything go to absolute dick. But, yeah, I'm not a super fan. I always think it's going to work, and I always end up going into Resolve, because Resolve is just so easy. Especially if you're shooting ProRes or some nice codec, you just drop right in there. And I found that, personally, for me, the Adobe Suite's more stable, especially than Resolve 15. But I've heard other people have different experiences with that. So part of my issue could be using multiple GPUs. Part of it could just be I access a lot of my footage off of a server instead of the native storage. So I'm not sure what it could be, but you're welcome, Edward. Just saw your message pop up. So there's a little bit of a delay. I could probably fix that, but all right. So now let's get into grading this, because this will be a fun shot to grade. I think there's some cool stuff we can bring out of this, because I really love these textural things. So the first thing we'll do is just do a little bit of primaries. I'll bring up scopes because I know people like scopes, but you know, I should probably look at them more while I'm on stream so people can see what's going on. But I mean, you can see that down here, it's not getting all the way black, but really in real life, that wouldn't be all the way black. But it is a little bit clippy down there, so we might be losing some information just in the footage that we got. Oh, I hope there aren't lags. The bitrate on my end, it seems the thing's green and the thing on YouTube is green. Yeah, Fairlight seems really cool. D, it seems really cool. I haven't really gotten a chance to really play with it that much just because I'm an audio snob. That's what I went to school for. So I'm used to that. And it can't do some of the things that are a necessity for me to use it. But it seems like there's some really interesting stuff in there. And there's a lot of potential. So anyway, we'll get on to grading this. Sorry, I'm just all over the place. I'll add a little bit of contrast, maybe brighten it up just a bit. The pivot control, increase the saturation just a bit. Because I'm going to go for sort of like an HDR effect with this. Because you always see like these types of cars on like 500 pics or Flickr or whatever your photo sharing preference is, with just a really hideous HDR effect on it. So the first thing we'll do is create a selection of our yellow. So Shift 8 so we can see what we're doing. If we can get the highlights in there, that'll be great. If not, yeah, I don't really want the sidewalk in there, so we'll make a separate selection for the highlights. To take the highlights out, you have to actually change the highlight control. Imagine that. Haha. So highs. That's not working for me. Maybe we'll do low saturation. Yeah, and that's eating this out. So that's taking away these parts right here, which I don't really like. We could try using our matte finesse controls, which usually don't work very well. We want this to grow. Do we catch on stream the first time? Kind of. The first time that the matte finesse controls kind of worked. And that, I still don't like that. I think that's going to end up being bad. We'll do this the old-fashioned way. Sorry. Hey, they're a good idea. But, you know. Yeah, I'd be fine to make tutorials on Fairlight, but I just don't know what people want to see with Fairlight. There's nothing that really super inspires me about it to make a tutorial. So if you guys have a question, be sure to let me know and I'll put it down, because I like audio a lot and I have something to bring to the table that other colorists probably don't have. Up in my bookshelf over there that you probably is out of frame, there's a lot of audiobooks. 3D qualifier. Oh, you know what? That's a good idea. That is a good idea. Let's try that out. I never use it. Ever. So maybe this will be the first time. And we'll just be irresponsible with nodes here. Let's try the 3D qualifier. I'm curious. Thank you very much for the suggestion, D. All right. So 3D. I just made a tutorial about the different types of qualifiers that I didn't like. And can we subtract from over here? Nah, I think I'm just going to mask it, because also remember how easy this shot is to track since we did the optical flow stuff. Zoom way out. I probably shouldn't zoom that much out because this is being downscaled on YouTube to 1080. But layout nodes. Fairlight Basics video. I should, but like I said, this is going to sound like really douchey, but I kind of have that curse of knowledge with audio stuff because that was like my first like big foray into professional media production. So I don't really know what people want to see with that. I assume that people know stuff, and I know they don't because I worked for a guy who didn't know what the difference between a stereo and a mono track was. Um, so yeah, and especially because I don't really do that much sound design with audio stuff because I live in Nashville, so I can get there's a ton of really good audio engineers that charge less than me, so I can just hire them to do awesome sound design stuff faster, cheaper, and better. So yeah, Steve, if you have any questions about Fairlight, let me know, and I can drop them down. Oh, John, you're welcome for the tutorials about Resolve. They're a lot of fun to make. I just have no ideas recently. Okay, but the problem with live streaming is I end up not doing much work. This is too much fun to talk to people who actually care what I have to say, you know? At least who pretend to care. Yeah, D, that's the way to do it. Just push it till it breaks and then just keep breaking it. If you see, I just did that playing around in Blender. I've been playing with the Megascans texture stuff because I hate texturing, and they're really good, but I'll turn my displacement up to like crazy. I need to actually grade this footage, so add the contrast here, and you can see adding the contrast, we get bad highlights here, which is no good. So what we will do after we finish this little part, I just need a little bit of saturation. Adding contrast automatically increases the saturation here. I bet if you turn the Luma mix down, that wouldn't. Or does that only work with the wheels? Huh, interesting. I guess it only works with the wheels. So now that's looking a little bit nicer. We might go ahead and, even though I don't think we have much detail down the shadows, we might try and get the back. Sometimes the clip is bugging a bit and it zooms in and out real quick. Edward, are you in the beta one? Because I've had that problem too. Oh, also, are you encoding directly to H.264? Because that could be a problem. I have to go to an intermediate format, which I'll normally use DNX DNX HDHR, and then transcode from there in media encoder to H.264, which is really annoying. Lester, do you not think my tutorials are in-depth? Sacrilege. Okay, once again, so now I'm going to fix these highlights. So Alt-L, and now you can see that just undoes all our work. So I'll hit Shift-H to go back to what we were seeing. You can see goofy stuff happens with Shift-H, and I'm guessing that's a thing with the optical flow retiming. But that's probably just a beta 15 thing. Anyway, so we will go and just select our highlights now. Now you see we're getting our highlights, but we're also getting all this other noise. We'll bring the highs all the way up. So we can just really easily go through and just make a really rough mask around this, because I'm too lazy to make good masks. And I just spent like 3 days this week just rotoscoping because the guy I hired did a bad job and I had to redo it for him, and stuff was due, and it turns out the stuff wasn't due. And yeah, anyway. Okay, so we got this, and now we'll just track it real quick. This will be one of the few times you see me leave Perspective 3D on. And just tracks through forward and backwards, nice and quick, because it's pretty easy stuff. So now we have this, and we can go ahead and blur this out because we want it to be a little bit glowy. So matte finesse and blur radius. And actually I sort of want to bring this in a little bit more. We're getting a lot of the yellows in there. I just want the very highlights. Excellent. And now we'll just pop these up so they're looking nice again and they fit in. So look at that. And we might expand this out a little bit. So that might be a little bit much back there. So we might change this with, the gamma wouldn't help out. Bringing the gamma down would help out. Bringing the gain up might help. Or we can reset these and just not be lazy and do it with the curves. So there you go. That's looking much better. All right. I know, right? Clients, hey, work would be so much fun if it weren't for clients, which is why tutorials are kind of fun, because a quick way to do split screens, probably, I should probably, look at how much nicer it is. We brought the highlights back. I mean, it's a little bit fuzzy and blurry, but we're going with a pretty stylized shot as normal with YouTube. Quick way to do split screens. It depends on how quick and how split. Well, what's the name of, there's a company that sells like mats that you can use pretty quick, and I've been thinking about ripping them off and making some mats myself, but I've got other stuff in the pipeline that I haven't finished. It's something with R, rampant maybe. Oh, am I a little bit blown out now? Sorry, my monitor is really bright. So not sponsored, but I'm pretty sure, yeah. Or animated mats. So this would probably be one of your fastest ways. You just basically throw these in, and then you would drop like one of these guys into, oh, loud, geez. But you drop some of those. You know, they're kind of expensive, so you just make your own. Oh, you emailed me a video. We'll get there. Oh, there's lots of interesting stuff. All right, so not doing much grading, just answering questions, but that's fine. So you just drop one of these mats in your timeline and then have your pieces of footage underneath it. Then you'd select them all and throw them into a Fusion comp, and then you'd be able to split them out. Fusion timeline and timing stuff still needs to be worked out a little bit. It's really easy in Premiere to do it, really easy in After Effects. Probably easier in the actual standalone version of Fusion. But yeah, there you go. Excellent. So we've got this. There's some more stuff I want to do to it, but I also want to get to other stuff. Oh goodness, I feel bad. I'm nowhere close to pronouncing your name. Sagan? Tsagone. I should be able to get to it. I'm rocking and rolling. We got people here that are talking. Motion array. Interesting. Okay. So we've got this. It's, obviously not all the way there yet. So another thing I want to do to this to sort of get that HDR effect going, I think that it's called like the drag something effect. It used to be cool. Not really anymore, but we're going to do it anyway. So we're going to add another layer mixer, and we're going to make one black and white, doing it the way that people want me to do it with these. I'll bring the reds down, the blues down. That looks cool. And then we'll just like way over sharpen this with mid-tone detail. And I might even like just go all the way HDR with this one. And then bring it back so it's contrasty. And then we'll just overlay this on the other one with the opacity, which is here. And bring the gain down. See, now you see it's got that sort of overdone HDR look, which I was going for in the beginning of this. Maybe it's your cup of tea, maybe it's not, but whatever. It works. Dan, I haven't really had any issues with round tripping with dual mono audio because I typically don't bring the audio into Resolve whenever I'm coloring. So I'll delete it all out because I just don't need it, and then I normally reconform back in Premiere. Either I'll render out, I'll normally for bigger ones render out like separate clips so we can like make edits on the fly. So render individual clips and have like 30 frames of frame handles. And then if they say, especially if it's an all internal media thing, then if a client says, can you make this edit a little bit sooner, or can you change this, then, we can do it pretty easily. And Premiere really does handle audio very well. That's one of the first like really big things I really liked about it. So we're going to add another node here, and we're going to increase the saturation some to bring back some of what we took away. That guy, that's looking neat. We've got a real serious HDR effect going on here. Let's close this so we get a little more real estate. Yo, why is it a hand tool? Oh, there we go. That's why. Never had that problem before. Hashtag streaming problems. All right, so now we've got this, and we're just going to sort of even out our luminance some, or I guess relight a little bit. So get a gradient tool and pull this over here. And just bring this gamma down and hit Alt-O for an outside node and bring the gamma up. And the lift down and the gain up. And just sort of relight this bad boy. Bad boy. It's bad boy. Sounding like Hello from the Magic Tavern. And we'll also just be lazy and go into the curves. Fix this last little part of this to get a little bit of this mid-tone contrast back in there. I mean, now we've got, you know, I don't know if it's better or not, but it's definitely different. And it's got that Anthony Bourdain Parts Unknown look to it, where you just have a little zap of B-roll. Yeah, I don't know what motion array effects are. Sorry. So we got that going. While there's a little bit of a lull, I'm going to quick download another thing. Oh, there's lots of footage. Oh, Ted, you didn't use a Dropbox link. If you were working for me, I'd be angry. But that's fine. I have Google Drive. What is it? Oh, this will be cool. We can do cool stuff with this. Excellent. All right, so we'll move on to the next one. The next one is from Moises. Oh goodness, sorry. I'm just a straight white American bigot, so I can't pronounce anyone's names. So I apologize for it. So we've got a bunch of shots here, and I didn't get an XML or anything with it, so we'll just pick one or two. And something interesting. We'll do something I wouldn't normally do. So this will be interesting, I think. Just drop a little clip in here. We'll mute our audio. So this, I feel like there can be something really cool about it. Or I feel like we can do a really cool grade. Like, this looks good. I like the way the vibe is. I sort of have an image in my head of what I want to do with it. We'll just see if we can get it there. I don't have my fantastic Swiss Let's Pack on this computer, or some new ones that I made that'd be really good for this. So we're gonna have to do it by hand in Resolve. Let's see what we can do. So I want this to be like a little bit orange tealy, but like also pretty blue. Because I'm guessing this is morning. So the problem with shots that like already look pretty good, because like I feel like narratively this works on its own. Maybe it should be like a little bit brighter, but also maybe not. Stuff is sort of where it needs to be. So I can just stuff down a little bit, sort of play around to get a feel. Yeah, just bring it out a little bit. I really want bluer shadows, so I shouldn't do this in the primary correction, but I will anyway. So drop this down to 0.1 and make this something like 0.3. Oh, those are normally pretty good values. This might need to go up because of how high. Is high key the right word for this? I always get high key and low key mixed up. Yeah, so this will need to come up probably to like 0.5 or something. That's a little bit too vintagey. Felipe. Nice. I respect that. You don't know English, but you like the channel? I feel the same way about Houdini tutorials. A lot of them are in not English. You can watch them anyway. So I'm sort of liking what's going on with these shadows here. I feel like I should darken them down a little bit since making them blue made them appear a little bit brighter. So I'll probably do that with some curves here. Do I want to just do it this way? Yeah. It's just expanding that whole thing. So that's kind of nice right there. And I really want to preserve their skin. So I really should hit Shift S to get a node before this, and then hit Alt L. Since this is adding some color, it'll make it harder to key. So we'll drop in another one on top of it. I'll just get some skin, not in the curves. I wish there was an easy way to stream with 2 monitors or 5 monitors. That'd be really nice if you guys like pick which monitor you're looking at. I could like have this one, I could have the scopes over there, and I could have the full screen output, which is not hooked up right now because once again we're on a backup computer, which is annoying. And I'm like pissing and moaning about being on this computer, but it's like actually a really good computer. But you know. So I'm fine if we don't preserve the highlights, I think. So we'll just get the main meat of the meat. So we'll get this, and we'll see. This is an MTS file, so it's probably noisy, yeah. So we're going to have to figure out how to clean this up if we want to use it. Bring some of the low out. How's that? All right, now we just need to denoise this. Not that much. Or maybe we can bring the blur radius down. Can we bring the in out in? In out in? Goodness. Yeah, I think that's good enough. Now we've got that over top. And we can, because those highlights are getting a little bit blue, I might push them warm in. Do a node outside it. This is a little bit messy, but I think it'll be the best for us. So this ends at 0.5, so we'll start this next one. Actually, we should do this in line with this one. That would be the smartest. So Alt S. That's just because I think these two are both sort of doing the same, are in the same idea. And then this one is overlaying on top of that idea. So just pretend like these two are one node. So I'm putting it here instead of out there. So put this one at 0.5 and maybe 0.8. Just warm these highlights up. What happens if we cool them down? Oh, okay. Maybe we warm them up here just a little bit, and then we'll make like a grade happen. And we'll cool them down here. There we go. And that's sort of what I was going for. Nice. Okay, cool. Like Bob Ross. What a compliment. I had to fix purple RGB light split the other day on an interview. The talent had purple. Oh no. I would probably talking about the purple under the nose. My go-to would probably be doing what I did in I think it's the last tutorial I put up with really subtle ways of correcting skin tone, and this could be a good way of doing that. Just make sure that you have what you want in your qualifier. So if the 3D qualifier worked for you for that, do that. I'd probably just use a circle qualifier, especially since it was a window. Not a window, goodness. Especially since it was an interview. It's not late enough for me to be this loopy. So I'm sort of liking this. It's a little bit green. So let's see, where did I cool things down? In the gain. Maybe I'll cool down the midtones and warm up the gain. No, I definitely like this being here. Just make it, oh, there we go. Push it towards magenta a bit, and that, I think that's still a little bit magenta-y. Just out of curiosity. Oh my goodness. Oh, never mind. I thought you could just rotate this thing like you think you'd be able to. But no. Guess you gotta buy a control surface. All right. So just being really careful. Alexa, turn on piano light. I'm going to get really warm here for a second, I think. And then Alexa, turn on work lights. So I normally grade with lights off, but here I'm just referencing my skin tone against the monitor. Because even though they're tanner than I am, the still fleshiness is the same. And I trust just like matching eyeballs more than I do the skin tone line on the scope. So that's there. The highlights are still cool, and I think that I'm down with that. Yeah, I think that looks nice. Alexa, turn off bright lights. Nice. Alex, this is a studio version. This is beta 6 because I downloaded beta 7 and it was just super crashy. I was trying to use it for a project very irresponsibly and I just got pissed off. Globex, go ahead and ask your fusion question. I may or may not be able to answer it. Flashback scene. All right. I think like making really overly graded flashback scenes is a little bit cliche currently. It used to be cool. But I just see like things that flashback just sort of keep it in the same universe. And then you can just tell that it's a flashback narratively and sometimes sort of challenging your audience a little bit. And especially because this looks like, you know, something interesting, maybe challenging your audience a little bit. So it'll make it a little more interesting, I think. I mean, if you want to make it a flashback, we can like add a little bit of glow on top of it. Just because I like glow. I'd probably add glow anyway because it's a morning scene. Like, so there we go. Maybe do that. Oh, not Alt-S, Alt-D is what I meant. So that's kind of nice. It's feeling a little bit magenta still, so maybe I will dial this back in some green. It's pretty close. That's kind of nice. And maybe we could like just brighten this up a little bit. Not that much. Nice. So that looks kind of cool. I'm kind of into that. I think that's sort of what I was going for. I might do one more thing and sort of adjust our saturation some. So is this luminance versus saturation? So we'll give our characters some life. We can pop out a little bit and then saturation versus saturation. There we go. You should take the footage you've been sent and let commenters dictate the narrative and then grade it. That would be fun. Okay, cloning shapes. I think I know of how I would do it. So I think we'll call this one good. I feel like, you know, we could tweak it for days because I like these ones that are like most of the way there and you have to work really hard to earn your keep with them. So like noticing just like a little bit of stuff on the darker part of her face. So there we go, making her a little bit, that's a little bit too much. Some more like down here and then reducing the contrast in her skin. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a nice thing. Might dial the glow down just a little bit. Oh, something to do with the FX. I know exactly what to do with the FX. I haven't used it in forever. But let me real quick dial this glow down. brightness. So get a little bit of subtlety. All right, excellent. So this is going to be really terrible, but I think it's going to be funny. What we're going to do to get the stabilizer going, or the FX tracker. Excellent. Let's just rearrange these a little bit. Remember whenever we didn't used to be able to select nodes, box select nodes and drag? Boy, that was the pits. I'm not old enough to be talking like an old man, though I do routinely think that kids should get off my lawn. All right, so we'll put this before the glow, hit Alt-S. So what we're going to do is use the, I mean, this shot doesn't move, does it? Okay, we'll use a different one. Oh, we're moving a little brown thing on the wall. That's a good idea. That is a good idea. Globex? That is a very good idea. Removing, I've removed many outlets from walls. And this will be a really easy one to do. So we can just do this with the Fusion Clone tool. We'll see, I've only used this once, so it might be a little bit slow. You see that we're viewing our pre-color output, so just have a note of that. And clone, paint, probably this, and clone. Let's see. So I just alt-clicked to select a spot to be in, or to clone from. And now just like that. So it's not perfect, but we can see brush controls and bring the softness up a bit. And bring the size up a bit. And stamp from the other side this time, so hold down Alt and select to get your location. I mean, I already can't tell where we were. So we'll call that good enough. Those kids need to get off my lawn. But, oh, cool. V brings up that. So that's how you can remove that. Oop. How do we make that go through the whole thing? That's what I always forget. Okay. Do not save. Where's my keyframe? Bud. This is embarrassing. There it is. Now, let's see if I can remember. Is it that? Nope. This is really embarrassing. I promise there's a way to do it. It's live, y'all. It's so nice to be able to edit tutorials to make myself seem smarter than I am. It shouldn't be under stroke controls, right? It should be under... Oh, I know what I can do. I can cheat this. So what I will do, since I don't know what I'm doing, obviously, is I will create a time speed node. And what do I want? Time stretcher. Yeah, source time. Want this to be 557. There we go. And can we have this output only the paint part? Probably. No one's giving me help. Just watching me crash and burn. Yeah, so I'll just cheat and merge since this is a locked off shot, so it'll be nice and easy. And we'll take our other media in, drop this in here, view this over on 2, and we'll just drop our little circle mask in up where our guy goes, or girl. It can be whatever. We don't discriminate here. one of my main editors is a girl, so take that. There we go. So now we can view. Oh, we probably need to switch these. Control T. There we go. So now we took out that little wall thing, and no one's the wiser. Heyo, Edward fixed this problem. Good job, my man. Plugging the mask into the paint would work. Yes. You're right. I feel silly. That would probably be a faster render too. So, good job. Never play it through. Oh, maybe not. Look who's the smart boy now. Excellent. Cool. So that was a really great suggestion. That was fun. Really easy way to just take this light switch off the wall. Whose footage? This was Moises, right? Yeah. Moises. Hey, I'll take a look at that. Do you mind, Moises, if I use this clip in a tutorial? We just go over this thing I just did with the basic paint. I'll research it a little more and make this nicer. But I think this would be a really good tutorial to put out there. So let me know if you'd be cool with that. If not, that's fine. I can make my own clip. But, you know, might as well show off other people's work. No one wants to just see clips of Amber all day. Or maybe they do. I'll shoot more clips eventually. Moises, what number clip is the one you want me to look at for the dolly stuff? I could probably find out just by like looking. But I mean, you're here, so why not? That's not it. 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 Ooh, excuse me. That's not it. That looks handheld. That's not it. Okay, cool. Well, in the meantime, we downloaded the other clip from Ted. Good name. So I will just go ahead and drop this in here, and we'll do something with it. This is cool. I'm jealous. I want to go wherever you are. Looks dope. So we're gonna want to make this like dreamy and fun. I mean, this really could be a contender for a sky replacement. Oh, awesome. Thanks, Moises. Sorry about, I think I just clipped a little bit. Next time I'll run this through the compressor, and then everything will be nicer and louder and stuff, because I'm minus 15, minus 10 right now. And I realize that might be a little bit quiet. So I apologize, but it keeps us from sounding like meme compilations. I'm very tempted to do a sky replacement on this, but Sunday I'm doing a lot of sky replacements. I will drop in a Fusion and see how the key looks. Why not? If it's hard to key, then you know, then we won't do it. But if it's easy, then we'll do it. This Luma keyer is like super not intuitive to me, so just bear with me. And I mean, that's close enough. Oh, but there's that water stuff. Ugh. That'd be a pretty easy thing to mask, though. I mean, I kind of want to do it. Let's see how, I mean, we could attach the track or the mask to the track, so. Yeah. Sorry, Moises, we're going to spend a lot of time on this clip. I can already tell. So it might take a while to get back to yours. And I think there was another one. That came in before your other one, too. So we'll see. All right, so we'll go ahead. Got track point there, and we'll add another one. And we don't need to do a full 3D track for this because it's just a sky thing. People made fun of me for my sky tracking tutorial because it was pretty lame. We'll make a better one soon. I just need to leave my house. So we switched Media Media over to pretty much all post-production, so I don't leave the house anymore, which is super nice. But also, anytime I go outside, it's like, oh, it's the sun. All right, so we've got these, and then track forward. Okie dokes. And track backwards. Oop. Track 4 went out. So we'll turn tracker 4 off then. We've already got 3 points. That's plenty. Excellent. Turn tracker 4 off because I'm too lazy. Whoop. Dick, do I have to redo this? Undo. Ah, nice. Stop. Save. I feel a crash coming on. And okay, track 4. View this, and we'll actually look at the clip. Delete tracker 4. Scrub through. Yeah, that seems relatively nice. And let's see if we can remember how to get these out into a transform. Match move, yes. So I know I've got a sky clip from having to access some very secretive folders to get this sky. Because I'm just pulling one from a project, and looks like I do not have the source file there. Oh, Theo. Let me go plug in that drive real quick. And the codecs in this computer, it is 64 gigs of RAM, GTX 1080, Titan X 1070, and 960. But in my main computer, which is currently unavailable because it exploded, is 128 gigs, and then only a 1070, or 1080 Ti, Titan X, and 1070. And then I also have the Decklink Studio 4K and a 10 gigabit Ethernet card in there, just using up all my ports. So that's that. Be right back. Okie dokes. So I don't know, I'm wearing headphones. Like, I should plug in music so I can be jamming. All right, let's see. Did it show up? Haha, it did. Very cool. And do we have a picture of a sky in here? Control-Shift-1. I mean, at this point, I should have just downloaded one off the internet. Probably need to convert this. Oh, the pains we go through for excellence. Oh, other secret photos that are NDA in here. Can't show that. Very special. Special stuff. All right. So, great out of focus sky. I mean, hopefully this one, though they're all going to be out of focus because I shot with that lens. I don't want to deal with that. I will just download one. Don't tell anyone. I'm just gonna download a sky image. Dramatic sky images. There we go. This one's over an ocean. It's pretty low resolution, so stop. Tools. Size large.